The power of stories. Stories are the heartbeat of humanity. From the earliest days of our species, when our ancestors huddled around flickering campfires under star-streaked skies, to the modern era of streaming platforms and viral social media threads, stories have been the thread weaving together our collective experience. They are not mere entertainment. They are the vessels through which we learn, connect, and make sense of the world. Stories are universal, transcending time, culture, and language. Yet they remain deeply personal, resonating with individual hearts and minds. In their simplest form, they are a sequence of events, but in their essence, they are the scaffolding of human understanding, emotion, and inspiration. This exploration delves into why stories hold such power, how they shape our comprehension of complex ideas, and their unmatched ability to inspire, entertain, and inform. Stories as the foundation of human connection. Long before the written word, stories were the primary means of preserving knowledge and forging bonds. In ancient Mesopotamia, around 2100 BCE, scribes etched the epic of Gilgamesh onto clay tablets, one of the earliest known works of literature. This tale of a king's quest for immortality was not just a gripping adventure. It was a meditation on mortality, friendship, and the human condition. Shared orally before being preserved in cuneiform, it connected listeners across generations, offering lessons on courage and loss. Similarly, indigenous Australian cultures, with their Dreamtime stories, passed down intricate cosmologies through oral traditions, tying communities to their land and ancestors for over 60,000 years. These narratives were not just tales but living archives of identity and survival. This instinct to share stories is hardwired into us. Neuroscientists suggest that when we hear a story, our brains synchronize with the storytellers, a phenomenon called neural coupling. As we listen, our minds mirror the emotions and experiences described, fostering empathy and understanding. In ancient Greece, gatherings at festivals like the Dionysia saw thousands captivated by tragedies and comedies. From Sophocles' Oedipus Rex to Aristophanes' satirical plays, these performances weren't just entertainment. They were communal experiences that sparked reflection on morality, fate, and society. Today, we see the same dynamic in packed movie theaters or online forums dissecting the latest series. Stories pull us together, creating shared moments that bridge divides. Even in solitary moments, stories connect us to ourselves. A child hearing a bedtime story feels safe, their imagination sparked by tales of dragons or distant stars. As adults, we turn to novels, memoirs, or podcasts to find meaning in our struggles or joys. In 19th century Britain, Charles Dickens' serialized novels, like A Tale of Two Cities, were read aloud in parlors, uniting families and strangers alike in suspense and emotion. Stories remind us we're not alone, reflecting our hopes and fears back to us in ways that feel both universal and intimate. Stories as tools for understanding complexity. The world is a tangle of ideas, emotions, and systems, often too vast or abstract to grasp directly. Stories distill these complexities into forms we can digest. Ancient cultures relied on myths to explain the unexplainable. In Greek mythology, the story of Persephone's abduction by Hades wasn't just a tale of gods. It was a way to understand the cycle of seasons, with her time in the underworld mirroring winter's barrenness and her return heralding spring. Similarly, Norse myths of Ragnar Fake, the end of the world, gave Viking communities a framework to process chaos and renewal. These stories didn't just explain natural phenomena. They gave people a way to navigate fear and uncertainty. In modern times, stories continue to unpack complexity. Consider how parables or fables simplify moral dilemmas. Aesop's tale of the tortoise and the hare, dating back to 6th century BCE Greece, uses a simple race to teach perseverance over arrogance. Today, filmmakers and authors tackle intricate issues through narrative. The 2015 film A Big Short turned the dense mechanics of the 2008 financial crisis into a darkly comedic story, making esoteric terms like subprime mortgages accessible through quirky characters and metaphors. Stories like these act as bridges, guiding us from confusion to clarity. Emotions, too, find clarity in stories. The Japanese concept of mono no aware, the bittersweet awareness of life's transience, is woven into countless tales, from the 11th century tale of Genji to Studio Ghibli films like Grave of the Fireflies. These stories don't shy away from grief or longing. They invite us to feel them deeply, offering catharsis. In psychology, narrative therapy harnesses this power, encouraging people to reframe their life experiences as stories, giving shape to chaotic emotions. When a trauma survivor crafts their pain into a narrative, it becomes less overwhelming, more manageable. A testament to stories' ability to transform the abstract into the tangible. Stories as catalysts for inspiration. Stories don't just explain, they ignite action. Throughout history, they've spurred people to dream bigger, fight harder, or endure. In medieval Europe, bards roamed courts and villages, singing of heroes like Beowulf or King Arthur. These tales of bravery and sacrifice weren't just entertainment for Mead. Soaked halls, they inspired knights and commoners alike to strive for honor. The Arthurian legends, with their blend of Christian and Celtic ideals, shaped medieval notions of chivalry, influencing real-world codes of conduct. In the modern era, stories continue to inspire. Malala Yousafzai's memoir, I Am Malala, published in 2013, recounts her fight for girls' education in Pakistan. Despite Taliban threats, her story, rooted in the stark reality of her survival after an assassination attempt, has galvanized global movements for education and equality. It's not just the facts of her life, but the way her narrative is crafted. Personal, urgent, hopeful, that moves readers to act, whether by donating to her cause or advocating in their own communities. Stories also inspire through imagination. Science fiction, from Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in 1870 to Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower in 1993 has long pushed humanity to envision new futures. Verne's tales of submarines and space travel predated their real-world inventions, while Butler's dystopias challenge us to confront climate change and social inequality. These stories plant seeds of possibility, urging innovators and activists to turn fiction into reality. Stories as entertainment with purpose. While stories inspire, they also captivate, holding our attention with suspense, humor, or wonder. The art of storytelling often lies in its ability to entertain while subtly teaching or provoking thought. In ancient India, the Panchatantra, a collection of animal fables from the 3rd century BCE, used clever tales of talking foxes and cunning crows to impart moral lessons to princes. These stories entertained with their wit while embedding practical wisdom about leadership and ethics. Today, entertainment remains a story's hook. The global success of franchises like Harry Potter or Marvel's Avengers lies in their ability to blend spectacle with deeper themes. J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World, launched in 1997, thrills with magic and adventure, but also explores friendship, prejudice, and sacrifice. Similarly, Marvel films weave humor and action, around questions of power and responsibility. These stories draw millions, not just for escapism, but for their emotional resonance, offering a mirror to our own struggles. Even in shorter forms, stories entertain with impact. In West Africa, griot storytellers, active for centuries, blend music and narrative to recount histories of kings or clans. Their performances, often at festivals, are as gripping as any blockbuster, with rhythm and rhyme that make history feel alive. Whether through a 3-minute song or a 3-hour epic, stories keep us engaged while slipping in lessons or truths. Stories as cultural glue. Across the globe, stories are the glue of culture, preserving traditions and shaping identities. In Africa, the griot tradition, particularly among the Maninka people, has preserved histories for over 1,000 years. These oral storytellers recount genealogies, battles, and migrations, ensuring that communities remain tethered to their past. In Mali, a griot's performance of the Epic of Sundiata, the 13th century founder of Malali Empire, isn't just a story. It's a living link to cultural pride. Stories also evolve with culture. In China, the legend of Mulan, first recorded in a 6th century poem, has been retold across dynasties, from ballads to Disney films. Each version reflects its era's values: dutiful daughter, warrior, or feminist icon, showing how stories adapt to speak to new generations. Similarly, Native American storytelling, often tied to specific landscapes, like the Navajo's tales of Coyote, reinforces a connection to place and spirituality, grounding communities in their environment. In the digital age, stories still bind us. Social media platforms like X amplify personal narratives, from activists sharing their struggles to everyday users posting life updates. These micro-stories, though brief, create a global tapestry of voices, fostering connection in a fragmented world. Whether carved in stone, sung by a griot, or tweeted in 280 characters, stories remain the pulse of human culture. The enduring power of stories. The power of stories lies in their versatility. They are teachers, connectors, inspirers, entertainers, and keepers of culture. From the clay tablets of Mesopotamia to the glowing screens of today, they have shaped how we see ourselves and the world. They make the complex simple, the distant near, and the impossible real, in every culture, era, and medium. Stories endure because they speak to something fundamental: our need to understand, feel, and belong. As we move forward, stories will continue to evolve. Virtual reality, AI-generated narratives, and interactive platforms are already reshaping how we tell and experience them. Yet, at their core, stories remain a human act, an exchange of meaning that transcends technology or time. Whether whispered by a fire or streamed to millions, they are our way of saying, "I'm here, and this is what it means to be human."